So let's talk about deposits. What's a deposit? How does it work? And if someone doesn't close on the property, do you get to keep the deposit? Very common questions that are asked in terms of this. So how a deposit works is the deposit is the amount of money, usually about 3 to 5% of your purchase price, that you are going to drop off at the brokerage or wire it, however you're going to do it nowadays. That's going to be sent off 24 hours right after an accepted offer. Now, there are stipulations, we won't get into it, but normally, that's how it works. So you put in an offer on a property that gets accepted within 24 hours. Let's say that the property is $1 million. You're most likely going to put about $50,000, which would be considered a very good deposit. You're going to put that down. Brokerage is going to hold it until closing, and that is going to go towards your down payment. So you don't need extra money. It's part of your down payment. What's going to happen is you're going to go through a conditional period now. And if the conditions work out great, everything goes good, you're going to firm on your deal. So once you go firm and you fulfill the conditions, is what it's called, that deposit will then go forth towards your down payment upon closing. And that's how the deposits work. Now, very big between buying and selling, how the deposits differ and what's most important about the deposit. So on the buy side, your deposit is going to go towards your down payment. If you're in multiple situations, it can look advantageous to yourself to have a bigger deposit. It shows financial security. It shows that you have more cash, that you have more money available. So it just shows more confidence in the seller's eyes to a buyer. Now, not the end of the world. We've had small deposits, we've had big deposits. Why do we like big deposits? So as the seller side, it's going to be completely different. On the sale side, there's a lot more risk involved. If the property doesn't close, something goes wrong, or who knows what could happen on property. So how this works is the deposit is still held in trust. Now, the big misconception is if the person doesn't close, you don't just get their deposit. That is not true. It doesn't work that way. So the deposit and how it works is that they're going to hold it. Now, let's just say you cannot close on closing day. The deposit is now going to be held in trust. This trust is going to go through until you resell the property. So let's just say hypothetically here, we had $1 million property, we had a $50,000 deposit. Now, how it works is if we do have to resell this property, there's going to be fees that are going to be associated, lawyer fees, administrative fees that are going to happen because the closing may not have gone through. Now, what's going to also happen is say that you have bought a property and you need to close on that property. There's going to be fees involved. There's going to be break fees. There's going to be bridge fees that are really going to come out, and that's what's going to really start to increase the price on things. So how it works is usually the buyer who's breaching the contract is actually going to be on the hook for a lot of these fees, and it's going to pull from that deposit. Now, let's just say that we turn around and sell the property again for $975,000. Remember, they had a $50,000 deposit, $975,000 plus some administrative fees, lawyer fees, bridge fees, other fees that might have been involved for the moving, for inconvenience. Maybe you have to go to an Airbnb. It can get very complicated and messy, but long story short, that $50,000 now, $25,000 of that you will be entitled to, and then the other 25 is where it will go back into trust, cover fees, and cover expenses. That's roughly how it's going to work. Do not just get the deposit. It is a lot messier than that. So either way, consult your lawyer, but just understand that's semi how deposits are going to work. You don't just get to keep someone's deposit just because they didn't close on a property or they back out of a property. Any questions, not too sure what to do, always consult a lawyer on this one. But again, reach out, and that is why we always on the selling side aim for higher deposits to protect our clients.